man who wrote the book on human behavior, a special edition Richard Flint podcast. Let's talk about it. Let's talk human behavior.
I want to welcome everybody on the call tonight. We're really excited to have you all on here. And we've got a dear friend of ours who's been a friend for well over 13 years, and he's been a coach of ours who's helped us through some tumultuous times, to say the least. And one thing about Richard is that he's here to tell you things as it is and kind of lead you to the solution, but never tell you the answer. And he's got a couple of really good books. One that I'll suggest is Behavior Never Lies. And one of the things that Richard, one of the profound insights that he's taught us is that whenever you've got any question, ask yourself this question, okay? Will this feed my confusion or will it strengthen my clarity? So whenever you've got a deep decision that's going on and you're looking for the answer, make sure that is the answer going to feed your confusion or is it going to strengthen your clarity? And we just came from his leadership event a few weeks ago in Georgia, and it's called Star Maker, and it's a leadership event, and he really kind of provokes our thought and really makes us move forward and look at things as it is. So with no further ado, Mr. Richard Flint, I want to welcome him to the call, and I know we're all excited to have you on here. So take it away, Richard.
Thank you, Sil. It is good to have this opportunity to spend some time with the people here. For basically 30 plus years of my life, I have spent my life studying human behavior. And so gave you the title of one of my 19 books, Behavior Never Lies. And what I have found over the years in working through my mentoring program is that the essence of truth is not what someone says, it's what they do. And life is filled with a lot of words, but sometimes when you look at a human, the words and the behavior do not match. And what happens when your words and your behavior do not match? You stifle yourself. You can talk about all the success you want. You can talk about building your business. You can talk about building your downline. And man, you can just have some great conversations. But are those conversations truth? And the way you're going to know whether it's truth or not, just look at your behavior. And one of the behaviors that I have found over the years in working with humans is that one of the top, if not the number one emotion in the human life that keeps you and I from balancing our words with our behavior is fear. And fear is such an interesting emotion, because fear, like every emotion, has a positive and a negative. When fear is positive, what does it do? It slows you down. When fear is a negative, what does it do? It speeds you up. And what I have found is that from the day you're born to the day you die, you're going to struggle with 6 fears. Now, Sil has those 6 fears. Denise has those 6 fears. Christian has those 6 fears. Melissa has the 6 fears. All of us have the same 6 fears. You see, the challenge is, which is your number one? So listen to me closely as I share with you these 6 fears, and figure out which one is holding you hostage. Because you're going to learn this. You're either a pioneer for your future or you're a hostage to your yesterday. And you're going to know that by your behavior. So, fear number one, and they come in no particular order, the fear of the unknown. I find so many people, they come into their business and they're really excited about it. And the interesting thing about excitement is that in its own way, it's a negative. Why? Because you can't sustain excitement. Excitement is like a roller coaster. It comes and it goes. And when it comes, you are pumped. But when you lose it, you're down. And one of the things that keeps us on that roller coaster is the fear of the unknown. Most people come into their business because they're curious, not because they're committed. And when you're curious but not committed, everything looks huge. And so you stand at the front door of what you say you want. You talk about building your business, but you just can't get the courage to open that door. Why? Because you're not sure what's on the other side of it. Most of us would like to be able to predict our life, but you can't predict your life. Life is an unknown. And so if the unknown creates fear within me, every time that unknown steps up in my life, it brings some friends with it. It brings doubt. It brings worry. It brings uncertainty. And when you put doubt, worry, and uncertainty in your life, it'll paralyze you. And what the unknown does is it makes you ask questions. And probably the biggest question you ask is the question, what if? And the interesting thing about what if, it's a question you can't answer without asking another what if question. Now, the second of the fears, the fear of abandonment. And this is a huge fear in our world today because so many people live with the fear of being alone. There are people who can't be by themselves. They're the people who fear that if they really step up and do what they want to do with their life, someone might leave. I've watched so many couples that have come into the business together. And they come in, and one comes because the other one wants them to come, not because they want to do the business. And what happens when you have two people trying to do the business? One wants to do it and the other doesn't. Can the one that doesn't want to do the business sabotage the one that wants to do the business? And so many times what happens? They steal our joy. They steal our peace. They steal our calmness because we're fearful that if we confront their behavior, that they in some form will walk away from us and we will be abandoned. The interesting thing about relationships is that they're partnerships. And sometime in the near future, go to my website, richardflint.com, and check out, because in January, we're going to be doing a couples retreat entitled Tweaking Your Relationship. And abandonment happens, folks. It happens in so many different ways. You can be abandoned when there's not communication. You can be abandoned when one of you doesn't really support the other. And that fear can hold people hostage. There's also the fear of failure. And this one is also huge because we have taught things about failure that just aren't true. You know, I was speaking at a conference one time, and the gentleman that was on stage in front of me spent his time talking about, you don't want to fail. And there's only twice in my entire life that I've ever done this. But I walked out on the stage after him, and I looked at that audience of several thousand people, and I said, folks, I don't mean any disrespect to the gentleman that just walked off this stage, but forget everything he just said. Because you can't grow if you can't accept failure. Now, my definition of failure is real simple. It's fertilizer. What's the purpose of fertilizer? To create growth. Every time you get knocked down, it really is a test of your commitment to what you say you want. And the real test of that failure is your behavior. Do you stay there and make excuses, justify, or have reasons why this is not working? Or do you stand back up and look at what knocked you down and pull out of it the lesson so that you can go forward? Failure is simply an option that didn't work. That's all it is. And as long as you feel failure, you won't take risk. If you don't take risk and you walk up to the front door of the unknown, what's going to happen? That fear is going to hold you back. There's the fear of rejection, which is a big fear. I mean, I hope you can understand this, but no one can reject another person. Let me say that to you again. No one can reject another person. You see, people treat you like you ask them to treat you. You ever had someone that you tried to like and they wouldn't let you like them because they didn't like themselves, and they talked about the fact that no one liked them? You see, rejection is a byproduct of when you don't have a strong foundation of belief in yourself, trust in your ability, and the faith that I can do this. And once you get into the world of feeling rejected, it is a tough world to break out of, because every day you look for a reason why you can't. There's the fear of loss. And I think this one is much bigger than most people realize. Why? Because with everything you do with your life, there's a price tag. And as long as you're willing to accept that price tag, you can go forward. But when that price tag is too big, then you're frozen in your tracks. I mean, you know you need to reach out to people, but you don't. And you know, if you're to build an organization that is growing, you constantly got to be telling people about it. But if you don't trust, believe, and have faith in yourself, it's not going to happen. So what happens? The price tag says you need to do the things that make you successful. But all of a sudden, the fear that the price is too big sets in. So what do? We get upset with our upline. We get upset with the people around us. We want everybody to do it for us. But in reality, if you're going to build a successful business, you do it through yourself, and your upline is there to help support you, but they're not there to do it for you. Not there to do it for you. And then we have the fear of success, which is much bigger than most people think. Do you know how many people don't believe that they deserve good in their life? You ever met one of these people? Things start going great, and what do? They sabotage themselves. All of a sudden, things are happening that they've talked about wanting to happen, and they just get in their own way, trip over their own feet, and make sure that they can't do it. You see, success must never be a moment in your life. It has to be a journey. And I want to suggest to you that to handle the fears in your life, be it the unknown, be it abandonment, be it rejection, be it failure, be it loss, be it success, and one of those is your number one fear. And if you can find your number one fear and face it, you can control the other 5 in your life. You're never going to get rid of fear, but you can learn to recognize what it's doing to your life. Because when you want to succeed and you trap yourself in your circle of repetitive behavior, your circle of sameness, most of the time you're there because of your fear. Now, if you want to know whether you have fear in your life, there are 3 things that will tell you whether you have fear in your life. Number 1, do you procrastinate? Do you have things that you know you need to do, talk about the fact you're going to do them, and you never get to it? Do you procrastinate? Procrastination is a byproduct of fear. Okay? Are you disorganized? Do you not get around to doing the detailed things you need to do? Disorganization is one of the most dysfunctional behaviors that there is. And you better know this. Disorganization is a byproduct of fear. Or, do you waste time? Time mismanagement is a byproduct of fear. So, do a checklist with me real quick. Do you procrastinate? Are you disorganized? Do you mismanage your time? And we have a reason why we do all these things, but you got to understand, every behavior that limits you, you do because you choose to do it, not because you have to do it, but you choose to do it. And that choice comes back to fear. So I want to suggest to you that to build a successful business where you control your fear, you've got to practice 3 Ds. Your desire has to be stronger than your fear. Do you understand what desire is? It's that table in life where you sit because you're hungry to know, you're hungry to grow, you're hungry to succeed. And desire is that inner part of you that says there's more, and I want that more. But if you let fear take over, what does it do? It takes the desire away from you. The second D is you got to have determination. Determination is where you come up against that fear and you fight through it. Determination is when you come up against those things that want to hold you hostage and you break free of them. Because determination says, I can, I will. And then you got to have the D that holds the other two together. You got to be disciplined. Do you know how many of you are not disciplined? You want to know whether you are or not? How many things do you talk about that you need to do to build your business you don't do? You know what? I've never met a human who didn't know what they needed to do with their life. They just didn't want to admit it. It's one of the things I learned in the counseling center. Most people want honesty as long as it's not honest. You ever had somebody come to you and say, now be honest with me? And you went, really? And if you take them to the point of honesty, they think you're criticizing them. You see, discipline is the glue that holds your feet to the fire. Discipline is that strength in the inside of you that says, I have the belief, I have the faith, I have the trust that this is what I want to do with my life. And I am not going to create roadblocks for my life. Roadblocks are not put in front of your life. You place them there so that you have a reason, an excuse, and a justification for not doing what you know you need to do. Now, I'd like to offer you a gift. And you can ask Sil and Judy about this, or Miss Denise Woodhall is over there. And I do a little thing called the Morning Minute. Every morning, 365 days a year, I send you one of my philosophies of life. And then I give you a piece of wisdom to take that philosophy and implement it in your day. It's a video message that comes to your email inbox every single morning for 365 days. Every month is a different theme. Like our theme for this month is stress. Every day is a different thought. And I did this because I know that most times we spend too much time looking at the wrong thing as we begin to start our day. I don't listen to the news. I figure if the world blows up, I'm going to know about it. I want to make sure that I am mentally and emotionally prepared for my day. And so that's why I created the Morning Minute. And if you'd like to see whether this could help you or not, go to my website, richardflint.com, and just scroll down and you'll see the Morning Minute. And I'd like to give it to you as a gift for the next 21 days of your life. Now, if you're serious about wanting to improve your life, you're not going to do it on your own. You're not going to do it on your own. So richardflint.com, scroll down a little bit and you'll see the Morning Minute. Click on it. And for 21 days, I'll give it to you as my gift to you. And together, we'll start our day together. And I'll give you something positive to feed your mind on. Fear can only control you when you give it control. If you strengthen your desire, your determination, and your discipline, then you can build that foundation where your belief, your trust, and your faith in you is strong. And what happens when those three are strong? You have self-motivation. Just some stuff to talk about. Sil told me I had 20 minutes, and the 20 minutes are up.
One thing about you, Richard, you're very, very punctual. Well, first and foremost, Richard, I want to thank you for your time and for your insights. And just from looking at the chat, you've definitely stirred some thoughts into people's mind. And I want to thank you for that, Judy.
Thank you for your gift, Richard. I mean, we know that everything takes, what, 21 days to develop new habits. So for all of us who don't quite have all those D's down, I'm including myself, it might be very helpful to start a new routine to get that back underway. So thank you for that gift, Richard. I truly appreciate you. You are a blessing in our life. I can still remember some of the first times that I met Richard. He would look like right through us, and you talked about being honest. He's like, "Are you guys ready to get honest?" We're like, yeah, no problem. Then he'd start to get honest with us, and it was like, it didn't feel so good, but gratefully we stuck through it, and you've just been a true friend and a true blessing to our life, Richard. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for coming on our call and enlightening everybody with your wisdom. I mean, like I said, you've got so many years and personal experience that, we haven't even shared, but you've certainly got a lot of gifts and talents that you can share with everybody. So thank you.
If I've raised any questions in anybody's mind and they would like to just privately ask me about it, if they'll just send me an email to richard@richardflint.com, I will personally respond to them. No one reads my emails but me. Just richard@richardflint.com, and just know that I am short and to the point. And I will ask you the question that you need in order to answer your own question. You have the answers. You just have to overcome the fear of answering it.
Awesome.
Well, I would open this up, Richard, but we could be here for 2 or 3 hours, and we don't want to take up more time than we asked for. So I want to thank you very, very much. And I hope each and every one of us on this call got something from it. And I mean, I wrote down 2 pages here of notes as quickly as I could pick up. And obviously, Raylyn will post the recording of this. Feel free to get back and listen to this again. But like Richard said, if we can overcome those 6 fears, if we can realize what the byproducts of fear are, if we can practice the 3 Ds, we'll definitely move forward, and not just for business, but for life.
Yeah.
And just remember the question that always stays in Richard's mind with us is that when you're asking yourself, when you're looking for an answer, does it feed your confusion or does it strengthen your clarity? And if you can ask yourself that one question, decisions become a lot simpler and a lot easier. So Richard, thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate all of you getting on tonight. And listen, we wish everybody a fantastic week. It's the 18th of the month, and we still have 2 strong weeks to close the month off. And just so you guys know, Richard Flint is not involved in network marketing, so I just want to be clear on that. But he speaks at many, many different events. He coaches a lot of people to get them to the next level. So we appreciate him taking his time to share his insights and some of his insights and stories with us. And hopefully it impacted you, and it might have opened up a door to move through one of the fears or one of the 3 Ds or the byproducts of fear. So Richard, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And everybody have a fantastic week. And we'll talk to you guys all later.